myself a time.
Friendly faces everywhere, humble folks without temptation.
Going down south, I'm gonna leave my woes behind.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. Say, it's about time we got back to the comic. So, let's take a look at issue 12.
I should begin by mentioning that this comic starts the first real story arc in the series. Some have called it the Dr. Venom arc, because, well, it focuses on Dr. Venom, and it also focuses on Snake Eyes, because of course it would. Technically, we got the first tidbits of the story in the previous two issues that introduced Dr. Venom and Destro.
Anyway, on to the comic itself.
The cover depicts four Joes jumping off a boat that's about to be bombed to hell. While it looks nice, it's just another action scene that really isn't very intriguing. I wouldn't pick up the comic based on this cover alone.
Why yes, I am judging a book by its cover.
The comic opens with a car chase through the streets of San Francisco. Larry Hama, like so many others, must have been inspired by Bullet, the movie with the famous San Fran chase. The Joes are pursuing a bunch of Cobras, driving a van marked Naja Hana Video Corps. Naja Hana means King Cobra, by the way.
I didn't have to look that up because I'm smart.
And also, the comic tells me this a little later. Moving on, in the shadow of the van, we find the title for today. 3 Strikes for Snake Eyes. Welcome to G.I. Joe starring Snake Eyes, everybody. Anyway, the chase continues, and the van plows through a car, cutting it neatly in half, with the driver being safely ejected on his seat. I can't even begin to explain in how many ways this is physically impossible, so I won't even try. Put simply, everything in this picture is wrong. Well, except that the car didn't explode, as they normally do in these kind of scenes. That's a strange bit of realism in the middle of this weirdness. The van drives on, with no apparent damage whatsoever, and it heads right towards the next obstacle, a stalled car in the middle of the road, with an arguing old couple in it, fulfilling both the old people and women driver cliches in one fell swoop. The old couple manages to jump out of their car just in time as the van plows into it going Mach 2. And this time there is an explosion. And it's even justified. Maybe. You see, the car they hit was a Pinto, a car that had gotten the reputation of bursting into flames if it got rear-ended, like here. Whether this was true or an exaggeration, I'm not sure. The Cobra agents inside the van are all killed, except for one, Scarface.
Say hello to my little friend!
No, not that one.
Scarface is a Cobra trooper with obvious facial features. He leaps out of the van and makes a run for it. As an aside, Scarface will become somewhat of an important character, but the main reason for him being distinct was a simple one. You see, Breaker gets a look at his face, well, the small part you can see on a Cobra trooper, and this way he can identify him later. Anyway, it turns out the van was carrying a bunch of stolen missile computer chips that are the size of an iPad, because it's the early 80s. They are hidden among video game chips. The Joes find a destroyed crate with an address on it. An address in the fictional country of Sierra Gordo. This Banana Republic would become a staple of G.I. Joe, as their go-to place for intrigue in South America when they didn't want to use a real country. Also, note the name on the wood. The comic switches to sometime later in the Pentagon, where they explain everything I just told you. Computer chips, Sierra Gordo, go get 'em. So they're sending in Breaker, who is the computer expert, Stalker, Snake Eyes, and Gung Ho. They warn them that the Banana Republic is having a revolution.
But honestly, if you've read the entire comics run, there's never a time when they're not having a revolution.
Breaker and Stalker go in undercover, pretending to be video game buyers, while Snake Eyes and Gung Ho keep watch. Once they arrive at the address, we see a familiar face. And so does Snake Eyes. He recognizes Dr. Venom, the guy who tortured him with the brainwave scanner 2 issues ago. And Snake Eyes figures, to hell with the mission, it's clobberin' time. So he and Gung Ho charge towards the house, and they just happen to bump into Scarface. But Snake Eyes lets him go. Dude has revenge on his mind. Meanwhile, inside, Stalker and Breaker are immediately made, as only Cobra or the Joes would know of the address, and a short firefight breaks out. With Snake Eyes and Gung Ho arriving, the battle seems won, until suddenly, all the Joes get disarmed by a single burst of gunfire.
And here we're greeted by an old friend.
Come on without, come on in. You'll not see nothing like the mighty Quinn.
Yes, Quinn the Eskimo is back, all the way from issue 2. And he has a contract with Cobra now. He's still a badass, of course, having disarmed everybody except Snake Eyes, who he tells that he noticed his gun was empty anyway. He promises nobody will die if they surrender. They promptly do just that. But Dr. Venom hasn't forgotten his first encounter with Snake Eyes either, and he beats the crap out of the bound ninja, to the point where he kills him. No respiration or pulse. This man is dead.
He's dead, Jim.
This severely pisses off Quinn, who made a promise, and he vows to deal with Venom once his contract with Cobra expires. Venom dumps the body inside their hideout and sets it on fire. It's only then that he realizes the obvious. Snake Eyes is a main character. He can't die. Also, he was there the last time Snake Eyes used a ninja technique to appear dead. Venom later decides that the fire probably killed him.
Dumbass.
So, of course, we see Snake Eyes waking up in the burning house, from which he promptly escapes, with his head on fire. Because what that guy really needed was more damage done to his face.
And I remind you, this is Larry Hama's favorite character.
The remaining Joes are being taken to Cobra's hidden bunker down the river, though, honestly, it isn't all that hidden. It's right there, in the middle of the river. The Baroness isn't too thrilled that they left Snake Eyes only maybe dead, but Venom says that even if Snake Eyes did survive, he'd still have to deal with armed commandos, barbed wire, and Dobermans before he'd even get at the bunker. And that's just crazy talk. I mean, there's no way Snake Eyes could do all that.
Nope, no chance at all.
So, as Venom, Quinn, and the Baroness head into the bunker, guess what happens? Snake Eyes promptly appears and dispatches one of the commandos. The other two are taken out by the other Joes, who have gotten themselves free, like they always do. They want to help Snake Eyes storm the castle, so to speak, but now, all of a sudden, the mission is more important, and he tells them to get away with the stolen chips that are still on the boat. He'll attack the bunker by himself.
Well, I say he tells them.
What I mean is, he just shoves Breaker back into the boat, and they figure out his entire plan from that. Meanwhile, inside the bunker, we find out Cobra's real plan.
I've been saying that a lot when it comes to Cobra schemes, haven't I? Hey, can't they just, do something simple like rob a bank or something?
Yeah, anyway, the real plan. Dr. Venom has perfected a deadly new virus for Cobra, one that took years to research and must now be brought to Cobra Commander. So, the chips were just a cover?
That's incredibly stupid, considering it was the chips that led the Joes to him.
Also, Cobra already had a new deadly plague toxin last issue. I have no idea what's up with that. Did the stories get their order mixed up? But that can't be it either, because Gung Ho is there, and he was introduced last issue.
This is confusing the hell out of me.
Moving on, Quinn hears, or smells, or uses the Force to send Snake Eyes outside. He kicks open the door, but the ninja is long gone, and the other Joes are escaping on a boat. The Baroness pursues them in a plane, while Quinn searches for the ninja. The Baroness drops a bomb on the boat as the Joes jump off. And hey, this is the scene from the cover, except there's no Snake Eyes. So they really just put Snake Eyes on the cover to have him be there. Doesn't he get enough exposure? I mean, it seems like it's all Snake Eyes all the time. To prove my point, Silent but Deadly jumps on top of Dr. Venom, who was about to shoot Quinn. He then punches the hell out of the good doctor, while Quinn looks on in amusement. Meanwhile, the Baroness decides that now that they have the virus, both Venom and Quinn have outlived their usefulness. So she drops another bomb on them. Even though Quinn spots this and shoves them all into the bunker, the entire island is incinerated by the blast. And the comic ends with the surviving Joes vowing revenge on the Baroness.
So yeah, Snake Eyes is dead.
I mean, there's no way he could have survived that, right?
On a completely unrelated note, this is the third or fourth time, depending on how you look at it, that Snake Eyes has died in the comics, and it's only been 12 issues.
This guy should be wearing an orange parka.
I feel that at some point I should do a tally of all the horrible crap that happens to Snake Eyes. I mean, this guy has it worse than Peter Parker, and he's dead at the moment.
So that was 3 strikes for Snake Eyes. And I have to say, minor plot confusion aside, this was a great issue. It was terrific to see Quinn again, as well as Dr. Venom. Apparent deaths aside, you know there's gonna be more to this story, and I can't wait to read it.
See you next week, everybody.